Chris Gets Ear Tubes, written by Betty Pace, is a very simple story about a boy who can't hear properly. So listen to the story in my voice. Chris was having trouble with his ears. He just couldn't hear right. No one wanted to play with him in school because every time the teacher said something, Chris would always shout, "What?" Chris's doctor had given him medicine to try to make his ears hear better, but the medicine didn't work. Dr. Lowy decided Chris needed a different kind of help. "Chris, your ears should be dry inside, but they are not," he said. "There's something sticky inside them. The sticky stuff makes it hard for the noises to get through. When the noises can't get through, you can't hear very well." "Can you get the sticky stuff out?" asked Chris. "Yes," answered Dr. Lowy. "I can put tiny tubes inside your ears. The tubes will take the sticky stuff out and make your ears stay dry." Chris thought some more, then asked, "Dr. Lowy, will you put tubes in right now?" Dr. Lowy explained that putting in tubes was a kind of operation, so Chris would have to go to the hospital to get them. Chris didn't like the sound of that. He had heard about operations before, and he knew that hurt. He didn't like the idea of having tubes sticking out of his ears either. "Dr. Lowy, I am really scared about this operation," said Chris. "Most people are scared about operations," replied Dr. Lowy. "But this is a very small operation, and it doesn't hurt at all. Many boys and girls get ear tubes every year." "Do you have some ear tubes that I could see?" asked Chris. "Yes," said Dr. Lowy. Dr. Lowy showed Chris some ear tubes and explained that they would be so far inside his ears that no one would be able to see them. "You and your mother can come to the hospital early Thursday morning," Dr. Lowy said. "When you get there, a nurse will ask you some questions. She will take your temperature and feel your pulse and listen to your heart and lungs. Then she will take your blood pressure and check your height and weight. When the nurse is through, we will give you some medicine to let you sleep when I put the ear tubes in." "Will I hear better when I get the tubes?" Chris asked. "You sure will," said Dr. Lowy. "Yeah," replied Chris. "Wait until I tell my friends." Dr. Lowy talked about things to do the night before Chris's operation. "Chris, you will not be allowed to eat anything after dinner," said Dr. Lowy. "Not even a cookie?" asked Chris. "That's right," said Dr. Lowy. "And on the day of the surgery, you cannot have any breakfast." The day finally arrived for Chris's surgery. His mother and father took him to the hospital early that morning. Chris met Mrs. Baker, the admission clerk. Mrs. Baker asked him some questions. Then she put a bracelet on his arm. "Why are you putting that on me?" Chris asked. "Hospitals use bracelets so people will know who you are," said Mrs. Baker. "See, your bracelet tells us that your name is Chris, that you are going to be in room 5, and that Dr. Lowy will be taking care of you." "Oh," said Chris, "I guess the bracelet will tell everyone who I am if I get lost." "That's right," Mrs. Baker replied. "Everyone will know who you are, even when you are sleeping." Chris guided his mother and father to the elevator. When they arrived on the children's floor, they met Mrs. Hall. "Hello, Chris," Miss Hall said. "I am going to be your nurse today." Miss Hall checked to find out how tall Chris was and how much he weighed. She took his temperature and felt his pulse. "You're a healthy boy," she said. "You will do just fine today." "Is it time for my operation?" Chris asked. "Not yet," answered Miss Hall. "First, I must show you one of the most important places in this hospital." "What is it?" Chris asked. "The playroom," Miss Hall replied. "You can stay here until Dr. Lowy is ready for you. Would you like to play now?" Okay, Chris said happily. Chris played for a long time. I really like it here, he said. I wish I could stay here all the time instead of having an operation. Just when Chris started thinking about being hungry, Miss Hall came to get him for his operation. Miss Hall put Chris on a bed that had sides like a baby's crib. She explained that she wanted to be sure Chris didn't roll out of bed when he fell asleep. Chris's mother gave him a big hug, and he and his father slapped a 5. Then Miss Hall pushed him down the hall to the operating room. In the operating room, everyone had on masks and green gowns. Chris couldn't keep from laughing. You all look like people from outer space, he said. Dr. Lowy patted Chris on the shoulder. Then he gave Chris some medicine to make him sleep. While Chris was sleeping, Dr. Lowy had small holes in each of his eardrums. Then he got the sticky fluid out of Chris's ears and he put a tiny plastic tube in each small hole. The nurse rolled Chris's bed to another room where she could watch him until he woke up. Miss Hall told Chris's mother and father that the operation was over and Chris was doing fine. Dr. Lowy came to talk to Chris's mother and father. The tube should stay in Chris's ears a long time, he said. When the ears have healed, the tubes will fall out. Can Chris go swimming? Asked Chris's father. Oh yes, answered Dr. Lowy. We can make earplugs for his ears when he comes back for his checkup. When Chris was wide awake, Miss Hall brought him back to his room. His mother and father were waiting for him. Chris was glad to see his parents, but he really wanted something to drink. Miss Hall brought Chris a cup of juice. After Chris drank the juice, he said, Guess what, Mom and Dad, Dr. Lowy was right. It didn't hurt at all when he put the tubes in my ears. That's terrific, replied his father. And guess what else? I can hear much better. That's even better, his mother said. Can I go home now? Chris asked. Yes, as soon as you get dressed, we can go home. Chris said goodbye to the nurses. He gave Miss Hall a special hug. How are you feeling? She asked. I feel great, Chris said, and I can hear much better already. I am going to tell my friends all about my tubes. The next day at school, Chris could hear every word the teacher said. His friends were happy because he didn't have to shout "What?" anymore. They all wanted to play with him.